Let's go to Napier now, which has played host to artists from as far afield as Brazil, Russia and Portugal, who've painted large-scale murals on the city's empty walls. 23 murals were painted last week as part of the Seawalls Artists for Oceans Festival in the city. Better known for its beautiful Art Deco buildings, of course. The festival travels the world, but this is the second year in a row it's been held in the Hawke's Bay. Checkpoint producer Michelle Cook asked festival organiser Cesar Merkins how it all started.
Originally, they sort of formed back in 2009, and so it's kind of just really Trey Beckard, who's kind of the founding director of Pangea Seed, and he was a photographer at the time living through Southeast Asia and Asia, kind of exposing and uncovering, kind of undercover photography, exposing all of the horrible, dodgy trades of illegal finning and kind of export and import of all that sort of nasty industry that was going on over there. So he was documenting all of that sort of stuff, and then it was all very heavy hitting, kind of walking into warehouses with thousands and thousands of bodies of just finned sharks, and just being discarded basically for these fins being shipped off around the world for shark fin soup and Chinese medicinal purposes and so on. And so that kind of hit home pretty hard for him, and he got back to the States to try and sort of do some research and see who he could support that was sort of fighting against this, and he couldn't find anybody. So that was kind of really the birth of Pangea Seed. So it started back in 2009 as an anti-shark finning, or an organization that was raising awareness to do with shark finning through, I guess, art. The first Seawalls Murals for Oceans Festival was out in Isla Mujeres, off the coast of Cancun in Mexico, and I was lucky enough to be invited out to that. And that was 4 years ago.
How did it then come to Napier? Why Napier?
Well, at the time, the guys were keen to do something in New Zealand, and so they hit me up saying, I was living in Auckland. They said, well, let's bring it to the centres. Let's do Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, so on. So when the conversation started again, and Trey got back in touch saying, hey, we really want to do something in New Zealand. Like, what do you reckon? I was like, great, let's do it. So he said, awesome, let's hit the centres. And I was like, well, hey, I've just moved to Napier. Like, what do you reckon about Hawke's Bay? A whole lot of blank walls. Nobody's painting anything here. It seems like it's this amazing location, would just be the perfect space for it. Really, there's a bit of a history of mural painters here. There are kind of a nice little handful of painters that do some really beautiful work locally, but nothing on a large scale. And that was kind of what excited me in the background that I was coming from. So, sort of driving around and seeing these beautiful 3-story, 4-story kind of blank canvases just itching to be painted, aching for it, it just made sense. So.
And have they been painted now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last year was the first festival, so we brought it down here.
In the last 2 years, how many walls have been painted?
We'll be sitting on about 53 murals over 2 years. Yeah. So last year we produced 29 in 5 days, and this year we're doing sort of 23, and then our crew are painting sort of now and after the festival as well. So, yeah.
Napier is, obviously known as the Art Deco capital of New Zealand. How has this kind of changed the image of the city?
Well, I think it's really added to it. I mean, and I was very aware of that, and, it can be a sensitive issue, so I was very conscious not to touch anything historic, anything heritage, anything Art Deco. And, I think Art Deco is it's beautiful, and it's a huge asset to the city, so it's really just growing upon that.
Cesar Merkins talking to our producer Michelle Cook.